AB 401.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning.
And members. AB 401 requires the Department of Community Services and Development, CSD, to recommend a plan for a statewide low-income water rate assistance program. Water affordability is a central element to water access. The California legislature established a human right to water in 2012. When the cost of water is unaffordable, it can pose a health and safety issue. There are a number of water districts with a small and/or declining ratepayer base, and these districts often increase their water rates to cover their infrastructure and operating costs. In some service areas, such as the community of Lucerne in Lake County, which is in my district, and I know that it's in Senator McGuire's district as well, water rates has jumped as high as 300% since 2006. Making water affordable is a complex problem, of course. But AB 401 takes a step towards water affordability by directing the Department of Community Services and Development to report to the legislature with recommendations on possible statewide solutions by 2017. I'm aware of the suggested amendments on page 3 and 4 of the analysis, and I accept them as our amendments. I'm unaware of any opposition to the bill, and I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a motion. The amendments, I just wanted to clarify. Sorry. Oh, that's right. We'll get to the amendment. I mean, we'll get to the motion soon, as just long as I just want to make sure that the speaker's in favor and speaker opposed. Just to be clear, that the amendments would move the deadline required to report to the legislature by February 1st, 2017. That it would require participating water agencies to demonstrate how they are working to keep rates low, including implementing and quantifying and cost-saving efforts. It would require a set of best practices toward achieving cost savings. It would clarify the role of the CPUC and the agencies in determining and verifying customer eligibility. It would ensure that the report includes recommendations regarding the structure of the program, particularly whether it will be state-run or locally run. Just want to clarify that, add that to the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Speakers in favor?
Good morning. Asha Kryling on behalf of the Community Water Center. We work with small, rural, low-income communities of the Central Valley that do not have access to reliable, clean, or affordable water to meet their basic human needs. More and more, we are seeing in these communities of the Valley, as well as retired elderly populations living on fixed incomes across the state, that residents are facing increasingly unaffordable water rates. The Community Water Center and partners published a report in 2013 that assessed water affordability in California, and we found that over 29% of households had unaffordable water rates, with affordability measured as water bills costing less than 2% of household income. However, many communities in the Tulare Lake Basin face issues of water contamination, so taking into account the cost of replacing contaminated water supplies with resources like filters and bottled water, in addition to paying regular water bills, over 50% of households in the Tulare Lake Basin had unaffordable water rates. Due to a lack of economies of scale, even if a small rural system has good water quality, the lack of a strong revenue base at affordable water rates makes it extremely difficult for the system to set aside funds for infrastructure maintenance and replacement. And as a result, these systems often have less reliable water services. If these systems did have these accounts built into their rates, their water costs would be even higher, and more systems would have unaffordable rates. There are low-income rate assistance programs for gas and utilities, electric utilities. The same should exist for water. AB 401 is critical for addressing water affordability and ensuring the human right to water. We ask for your aye vote. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Jennifer Capitolo on behalf of the California Water Association, representing the 113 water utilities regulated by the Public Utilities Commission. We have been operating low-income rate assistance programs for many years and have been able to work with Assemblyman Dodd on and some of these amendments to the bills based on our experience in providing these programs. So very supportive of this effort, and ask for your aye vote.
Thank you.
Ingrid Brosnan with the Center on Race, Poverty, and the Environment. We represent low-income communities, communities of color in the Central Valley. I work specifically with residents of Delano, which have recently faced a 75% increase in their water rates over over a 5-year period. We respectfully request your aye vote.
Thank you.
And Alice Kessler here representing the Northern California Water Association. We also strongly support the bill.
Vern Gehring on behalf of Food and Water Watch and National Consumer Interest Organization in support of the bill.
Anybody in opposition of the bill? Any opposition? Anyone else like to add on comments to this bill? Any questions, comments? Senator McGuire?
Very quickly, Mr. Chair, and do appreciate it. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Assemblymember Dodd for bringing this forward. We do have the opportunity to be able to represent the poorest county in the state, as well as one of the poorest communities in Northern California, that's in Lucerne. And this bill has been a long time coming, and appreciate Assemblymember Dodd championing this. And the simple fact is, these low-income families, and in particular seniors, need rate relief. And this is an important first step, and do appreciate you bringing this forward today, as it is not sustainable long-term in Lucerne or in many of the most rural and poorest counties, cities in this state. So thank you so much, Member Dodd.
Thank you very much. And I guess we have a motion by Senator Povely. Did you want to make any comments? No. Okay. So we have a motion by Senator Pavley. Also like to thank the author with working with our staff and our office to make this a better bill. Did you want to close? Do you want to make any closing? Okay. Thank you, Senator. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass is amended to appropriations. Wesso?
Aye.
Wesso, aye. Fuller? Canella? Hertzberg? Hill? Lara? Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. McGuire?
Aye.
McGuire, aye. Morrell? Pavley? Aye. Pavley, aye.
Okay, that has enough votes to get out, but no, it doesn't. It needs one more. Well, we'll hold the bill on call and wait for absent members to add on. I'm gonna ask the committee to move the consent calendar. If we have a motion by Senator Leyva. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass to appropriations AB 895. Wesso?
Aye.
Wesso, aye. Fuller? Canella? Hertzberg? Hill? Lara? Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Morrell? Pavley? Aye. Pavley, aye. Wolk?
We'll continue to hold the roll open on that one. Assemblymember Cooper, welcome. Whenever you're ready, you can begin your presentation on AB 1422. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. AB 1422 adds transportation network companies to the list of entities that are required to enroll in the Department of Motor Vehicles Employer Pull Notice Program. The DMV Pull Notice Program helps businesses and government agencies ensure that unsafe drivers are taken off the road quickly by notifying employers when an enrolled participant is involved in an accident, convicted of a drunk driving, convicted of a driving under the influence, or any other actions taken against their driving privileges. Currently, the Pull Notice Program is limited to public agencies and employers. This leaves out TNCs like Uber, Lyft, and Sidecar because drivers utilizing these platforms are independent contractors. Currently, TNCs must manually pull DMV records on a quarterly basis to review driving records, a process that is both inefficient and slow to catch such things as DUIs, accidents, or license suspensions. AB 1422 promotes driver and public safety by authorizing TNCs to participate in the DMV Pull Notice Program and helps improve the safety of passengers utilizing these transportation services. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Speakers in support?
Yes, Alex Loip with Uber Technologies. Chairman Weso, members of the committee. This is an important public safety bill that will allow us to know immediately if a partner on the Uber platform has committed a serious driving infraction. We take safety very seriously, which is why we have very strict requirements when it comes to drivers who want to partner with Uber. For example, a single DUI in the past 7 years makes you ineligible to partner with us. AB 1422 will allow us to better maintain those high standards once a partner is driving on our platform. The value of this bill to public safety is clear, which is why it has the support of several law enforcement groups. I want to thank Assemblyman Cooper for authoring this important public safety measure, and I urge your support for this bill. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members, Duncan McFetridge representing LIFT. Thanks, Assemblymember Cooper, for bringing this measure to the committee. Echo everything that Alex said. We indicated last year that we wanted to participate in this program. Brought forth a piece of legislation to do that. Urge committee support. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other supporters who wish to add on?
John Doherty on behalf of TechNet in support of the bill.
Anyone else? Do we have anyone opposing the bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. My name is David Kinney. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Greater California Livery Association. We represent the 5,000 limousine operators throughout the state of California. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I would like to support this bill, but unfortunately we're not able to support this bill. I've agreed what Mr. Cooper's had to say, the two witnesses. This is about public safety, and I think it's incredibly important that anybody who drives for income in the state of California is covered by the DMV poll notice program. We would like to see an amendment to this bill in order to support it, which is removing simply two words, independent contractor. California Labor Board on June 15th has already indicated that individuals that work for TNCs, or specifically Uber, are employees. By supporting this bill, we're going to codify the issue of whether these folks are employees or independent contractors. On a personal note, when I started my business 10 years ago, I had my drivers as independent contractors. PUC came in and audited me. They cited me. They fined me because they said it had to be, my employees had to be employees. Okay? And now, my payroll costs with workman's comp, unemployment insurance, all of the payroll costs that go along with this, including starting tomorrow, 3 days of mandatory paid sick leave for all my employees. This is the cost that raised my personal costs by 30% of my payroll costs. Currently, that's $25,000 per month that my company pays to take care of and support the folks that we call employees. And at the same time, other providers of transportation services in the state of California do not have that cost. And they don't have that cost because of this. My company has an app. On that app, people can hit a button, they can get a ride, they can have their charge card charged, they can get an email receipt. I have an app, okay, but I am not a TNC, okay? I have to pay to support my employees. I have to pay for employee benefits. I have to pay for workers' comp insurance. We would love to support this bill because I think it addresses some of the major concerns about public safety. But at the same time, I need to be able to go back to my constituents and explain, why do we have to pay? Why do I have to pay $25,000 per month? This is just one company when I provide the same services as somebody else. Would love to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Just generally, I wanted to, explain why we didn't change that. And in California, there are some taxi companies that operate under the employee system. There are others that employ under the workers, independent contractors model. They have been challenged. Some have found to actually, when they're independent contractors, have been found to actually be have an employee business relationship, but they're not all have. All have been, a lot have been challenged. Some have weathered that legal challenge. Others have not, because not all companies in California operate the same. If you are operating under an employee system, I think you should be held accountable, and that should happen. But when you don't, and you actually operate under independent contractor model, there should be some ability to allow you to do that. This bill doesn't necessitate that one has to operate one way or another, but there's flexibility in allowing those companies that do operate as independent contractors to actually exist in California, which, you know, the courts have found in the case of Uber that they're employees, but not all. They didn't say all TNCs have an employee structure. So that doesn't cover all TNCs. It covers that specific one, as decisions have came in the past in your instance and other instances across the state where the courts have found that people are violating that rule and that thereby should be employees, and that is an ongoing process. We don't want to get involved in that other than have the bill reflect that there are multiple business plans that exist in California, and there's some level to address that. So I appreciate you being here today. Do we have any questions, comments? Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I have a lot of concerns with Uber and Lyft in different areas, and independent contractors is one of them as well. I think that where we are in time, this bill goes in the right direction to make sure that there are safe drivers out there. So I'll be supporting the bill today.
Thank you, and I also would recommend support this bill. Is simply a public safety measure, and I would encourage people to, can we have a motion? We have a motion. Did you want to make a closing statement?
Yes, I want to thank you for your comment, Chair, and Senator Leyva for her comments, and also the Speaker. This is critical. I ran the Sheriff's Work Project program where we transported thousands of inmates across the county to work in the community for many years, and we had the pull notice program. And sometimes some of our drivers, our deputies, got cited, and we need to know about that to make sure we pulled them off and didn't have them drive those inmates. And it really comes down to public safety. Right now, public agencies get this information. We want to make sure that TNCs also get the information, anybody else, to make sure that those passengers are in the hands of safe drivers. So I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass to Transportation and Housing Committee. Wesso?
Aye.
Wesso, aye. Fuller? Canella? Aye. Canella, aye. Hertzberg? Hill?
Can I just interrupt the voting? Just to clarify that you are accepting the committee amendments.
Yes.
I thought you said it was amendment. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some confusion. There are no amendments. I'm sorry. We could add some. Do you want to propose some? I'm sorry. Okay. Clerk, if you could continue with the roll. I'm sorry.
Do pass to Transportation and Housing. Hertzberg? Hill? Lara? Leyva? Leyva, aye. McGuire? McGuire, aye. Morel? Pavley? Pavley, aye. Wolk?
Okay. You need one more vote to get out, but we'll hold it open for the absent members. We'll ask our next, thank you. We'll ask our next presenter, Assemblymember O'Donnell, on AB 678. Please begin when you're ready.
Senator Wesso.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just had a question out of curiosity. I get it's going to Transportation and Housing. Did it come here because the PUC has jurisdiction over?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it probably should be changed at some point in time. That's,
Well, you know, anything that goes
because I'm the
before the
Energy Committee.
PUC comes before us.
It could have gone to Labor and Transportation and Housing. I mean, who
That's an
knows?
interesting question that you pose, because PUC is involved in transportation.
I know, but that maybe they shouldn't be.
Again, we've been voting on that year after year, so.
Great info here.
Just a thought. I just wanted to make sure I understood why it was here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Assemblymember O'Donnell, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I would like to start out by accepting the committee amendments and thank the committee for their work on this bill. Today, I am pleased to present AB 678, which seeks to provide funding for energy efficiency upgrades at public ports throughout the state. The 70th Assembly District is home to both the Long Beach and Los Angeles ports. That's my district. The California maritime and goods movement industry has worked diligently to meet state emission and energy standards. Despite these strides, further enhancement of existing port infrastructure is still needed to meet both existing and future demands. To meet these demands, we need to act as partners with the industry and deliver the state resources needed to ensure our local ports remain both competitive and green. AB 678 allows for funding to our state ports so they can invest in energy efficiency projects, improve air quality around the ports, and continue their effort to be green. These investments will not only further reduce the environmental impacts associated with the ports, but have the potential to lower both port operating costs, resulting in improved competitiveness and job growth. And I have a couple witnesses with me here today, Mr. Chair, Mike Jacob with the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members. Mike Jacob with PMSA. Thank you for considering the bill this morning. Really, as the Assembly member said, what we're looking for is some help and assistance, making sure that we're able to make the transition to the next generation of infrastructure improvements and efficiency improvements in our operations that will necessarily both reduce emissions and our greenhouse gas emissions portfolio. And as a result of several of our strides that have really reduced emissions to date, it comes with the byproduct of increasing our electrical expenses and our consumption. So, for instance, now we cold iron our vessel, which is we plug them in while they're at berth under a rule that was passed, and that was a $1.8 billion investment by industry in our public port system, and has really reduced particulate matters and greenhouse gases. In fact, it was part of an early action item that CARB had under AB 32. But as a result of full implementation, you could be looking at over an additional 50 megawatts of power usage a day in LA and Long Beach. So what we're looking for is the ability to really mitigate both the front end and the back end of our greenhouse gas emissions and criteria pollutant emissions reductions programs. Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, Tim Schott on behalf of the California Association of Port Authorities, which is comprised of the 11 commercial publicly owned ports. For the reasons previously stated, we're in support of the bill. The ports have been principally focused for about a decade, at least a decade now, on air quality improvements. And we appreciate the assistance the state has provided in terms of Prop 1B and Carl Moyer funds and other places. Energy has now become a larger component, of course, of what we need to do operationally and infrastructurally, if you will, given shore power requirements and given the need to continue to move towards a low-carbon transportation system. Appreciate the support.
Tiffany Whiten on behalf of the Infill Builders Federation in support.
Thank you. Anybody else in support? Anybody else in opposition to the bill? Do we have any opposition? Do we have any comments by members? I'm sorry?
There are amendments, correct? Yeah. He accepted. Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to go
Probably
over
got
that.
sidetracked.
Yes, I did accept them.
Okay.
Yes, and they're in the report. So did you want to make any closing comments?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Can we have a motion? Okay, we have a motion. Thank you, Senator Canella. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass is amended to Environmental Quality Committee. Hueso?
Aye.
Hueso, aye. Fuller? Canella? Aye. Canella, aye. Hertzberg? Hill? Lara? Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Morel? Pavley? Pavley, aye. Wolk?
Okay, we need, we'll hold the roll open for absent members. Thank you. We have other members presenting in committees, so we're... Yeah, well, why don't we begin by accepting a motion on AB 197 by Garcia?
So moved.
We have a motion on AB 197. Clerk, can you call the roll on AB 197?
Due pass to appropriations, Wisso.
Aye.
Wisso, I. Fuller, Canella, Hertzberg, Hill, Lara, Leyva, McGuire, Morel, Pavley, Pavley, I. Wolk.
Okay, on AB 401, Dodd. Clerk, can you call absent members?
Due pass is amended to appropriations. Current vote 4-0. Fuller, Canella. Aye. Canella, I. Hertzberg, Hill, Lara, Morel, Wolk.
On AB 590, Dolly. Clerk, please call absent members.
Due pass is amended to environmental quality. Current vote 6-0. Canella. Aye. Canella, I. Hertzberg, Hill, Lara, Wolk.
On the consent calendar, clerk, please call absent members. Yes, AB 895.
Due pass to appropriations. Fuller, Canella. Aye. Canella, I. Hertzberg, Hill, Lara, Morel, Wolk.
Okay. I think that covers you.
Yeah.
We'll take a brief coffee break.